Hello and welcome back to the Saw movies. This time is Saw 3 of the from 2006. We very briefly mentioned, at least I did, and Pedro to an extent, when we commented on Deck the Halls, since we were scouring on the movies released in 2006 to check if we were going bad or bad. And I stand on what I said. This is still relatively solid. It's not, I don't think it's still my favorite of the original trilogy, because it has a couple of things that I'm not particularly, not fond of, but I don't really care about. But to compensate that, it has some of the best sequences of the movies so far, So it's a balancing kind of thing. So to put in situation, to where we left off, Detective Matthews, if you forgot, discovered that the game that he was, observing happened in the past. He arrived at the same room of the first movie, and got trapped there by Amanda, which left him basically there to rot, game over everything. Meanwhile, Jigsaw was basically dying inside the car, of Detective Matthews. So that's what we reprise of. So let's see what happens. Because of the difference in our copies, start before the custom Lionsgate logo. It's for the better because some copies do start with the Metropolitan logo, which flashing alert can seriously, be distracting, if not actually hurting your eyes. Your discretion is advised, but that's not the point. The point is that we instead start from the Lionsgate logo. So start before that in 3, 2, 1, click. I had to say, well, for out of all generally the custom logos, I really dig this one. Very elaborate. The color palette, is actually appealing to what it's supposed to be.
How the hell are they gonna? How the hell are they gonna make their current one work with this series? I haven't seen any of the other films they've made post logo change.
Fun fact: I think they forgot to mention from the previous movie. Movie 2 and 3 have subtitles in my country, as subtitles in the title. Saw 2 is called as the subtitle of The Solution of a Riddle. Yeah. And in this case, Saw 3 is instead subtitled as The Endless Riddle. So, yeah. And yes, we have returning people. Once again, directing Darlene Bousman from the previous movie. But Lee Wanell returns for the screenplay along with James Wan. So again, we have a bit of a step up in quality.
And then they never came back.
Okay, I think Lee Wanell remained as a consultant or a producer in some capacity. I checked some of his other works, in the meantime, like The Invisible Man or that movie he made about an AI controlling your body, and that's really good stuff, actually. So yeah, like I said, we start with Detective Matthews still stuck in the room.
Sorry.
Again, considering these movies were mostly filmed back to back, to preserve continuity, it works out. It's only for the later ones where we start to have a bit of a problem. Yeah, Lee Wanell already tried that. It didn't work. Sorry.
What's the definition? What's the definition of insanity again?
Well, hey, this guy.
He doesn't know.
Well, hey, this guy is actually American, so maybe it'll work this time.
I find that unlikely, but yeah, the saw is still there. Oh.
Ah, so that's why the series is called that. It had a saw at one point.
Yeah, it's clever, dude. Shut up. I mean, with that title, you could be mistaken
by being
a movie about killer lumberjacks.
Sorry, Dwebs. Well, actually, no. Sorry, Dwebs. It was the Nagatoro creator who came up with the Escape from the Room of My Kawaii that he came up with that name. So we could. So I didn't come up with this one. Like, I guess guys escaping from a torture chamber didn't really fare well in the marketing. So
it's weird because escape rooms are still a thing to this day. Even post-COVID, they managed to still thrive.
Has Nagatoro been feed into an escape room yet?
I don't know.
No.
I guess it could fit.
No, no, there is actually.
Senpai.
There is actually. Basically, Dwebs, after the original webcomic in 2011, Nanashi made a game, a Nagatoro game on RPG Maker, and it's literally called Escape the Room with My Kawaii. And it's basically, she traps him in the art club room, and you have to decipher puzzles to escape. And it later also got loosely adapted into a bonus chapter in one of the volumes of the manga.
Cool.
So yes, there has been. It's just obviously it's much less gory than this, obviously, because it's much more comedic in tones. But yeah.
Also, we got a shoot of Dr. Gordon's foot for a reminder. Again, Cary Elwes is still expensive, so we're not gonna see him for a while. And now, as a sort of addressing a fan complaint that people have from the first movie, Detective Matthew decided instead of cutting his foot, he can just, break the bones and, put him, sleep it out, which I guess it is a proper way to do it, but I'm not sure how practical it can be. Like, you have to severely damage the bones in the tendrils in there to the point where, well, you might as well not have the foot then. I'm not sure, how much you can, recover from that. Also, I'm getting flashbacks to The Last Giant from Elden Ring. Not kidding, Dweebs. There's a boss in Elden Ring where at some point he gets pissed off so much that breaks his own calf, leg and foot, sacrifices to his god so he can get powers. That's metal as fuck.
Damn.
The only thing that was missing would be some actual metal music in the background while that's happening. Well, there's been going for the Souls games on your stream, so you already know how fucking out there some of these bosses can be in Front Software's games. So.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, I don't think we should be taking our masks off yet. We don't know what's in here.
It's okay. We just entered the room.
I swear for a moment it looked like the main actor from Tenet.
So yeah, we get introduced since, again, the police had a bit of, restructuring. Once again, we get to introduce a couple of new characters.
Also, I'm the main character. I'm the only one that gets to remove his mask.
Kinda. Again, it's this kind of thing of... Also, this guy is gonna be important, Detective Hoffman. He's gonna stay along for a bunch of these movies, so we'll have to get accustomed to him. But it's a kind of thing of Hollywood, where again we cannot have an actor keeping the mask or the helmet on because we need to show their faces on. Like Carl Urban deliberately had to ask to keep the Judge Dredd helmet for the movie. Anyway, initial torture because we gotta need to. And honestly, to me, this is the weakest one so far. It's this guy that is trapped with hooks in all the parts of his body, including the jaw. And has to get out before time runs out.
You know how in the other movies he makes traps that are he makes traps that while they're difficult to escape,
you can escape from them.
You can escape them. Whereas in this movie, there's a few traps that
are inescapable.
And that's not normally how Jigsaw operates.
That should give you a hint that the Jigsaw brand is expanding, and maybe it's not just him anymore.
I get the feeling this franchise could benefit from going the Chucky route and go straight to video and streaming, so that they can have more creative freedom right from the get-go and not have to bother
Again,
about.
by the time we're recording this, we're getting that 10th movie, in theaters, because again, Lionsgate sure loves to put their movies in theaters, like with fucking Norm of the North. So we'll have to see how that turns out. Let me check if this actor is credited properly, if I can recognize him.
So Darren and his
Yeah, the editing is constant. Is once again, seizure-inducing.
At this point, I'm starting to really see why we can't have She-Ra in these commentaries, because seriously, it's the third movie and they're still doing this.
It's gonna be basically a constant throughout the entirety of the series. So yeah, in hindsight, I kind of should have seen this coming.
It's one of those things where it's just like, do they really think this makes things scarier? Because it doesn't. It just makes it
Pedro,
annoying.
Peak mid 2000s. They generally believe that probably.
All it does is, do they actually put this in front of a test audience, and the result and the feedback was, yes, this makes it scarier. Keep this in. Like, really? I just like,
Troy, there you go. That's the name of the character.
It reminds me of sorry.
Taylor Rose, gone.
This was the mid 2000s equivalent of what Zack Snyder's doing with his recent movies. I'm guessing you haven't seen Army of the Dead too.
Not yet.
Well, basically, you know how in the Snyder Cut. Well, actually, I'll wait. I guess I'll wait after this.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, as Liz hinted, this travel was pretty much inescapable one way or another.
Yeah, this isn't his normal modus operandi. Are you saying, Pedro?
No, basically in the Snyder Cut, remember how in that's the scene where the Joker shows up? That scene is horrendously filmed because the shot is constantly going in and out of focus. Like everything looks so blurry. Like even when Jim Leno is on screen talking, they still shoot him out of focus and it looks so blurry. Guess what, too? That's just one scene of the Snyder Cut. The whole movie Army of the Dead is shot like that, and it's annoying. I have no idea why the hell Zack Snyder's so infatuated with that filming technique. I don't like it at all.
I could possibly throw a explanation, maybe.
Go on.
Both that and, well, a few bits and pieces of Army of the Dead were filmed during the pandemic. Do you think that maybe has something to do with it?
I guess, but I don't know. They're a bit. We've had other movies that were shot during the pandemic that don't have that issue. I'm not entirely certain that's a good enough explanation.
My guess, okay, because I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know exactly the composition of the shot. I think what this may suggest is that since they did not have that much material, they had to enhance, alter it with post processing in order to make it look better. I don't know. But just this. Again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know how it looks like.
Plus, there's the thing with social distancing and all that.
But yeah, it looks like somebody's in her house.
No, this is gonna be like a Paranormal Activity type of thing.
Surprisingly enough, despite the outlandish stuff, this series never particularly went supernatural. Like some of the stuff, really tests your suspension of disbelief. Like how many characters like Jigsaw managed to predict events that will have happened, and prepare these many complexes, traps, despite their skills, and physical strength. But again, the movies try to see, firmly establish that it's still man-made and there's no, in supernatural intervention or anything. This gets particularly comical with the ninth movie. And the pig mask kidnapped her. Fantastic. Which means she gets to be in her own trap. Detective Carey, played by Dina Meyer. Oh goody, her first role, if I recall correctly, was in Johnny Mnemonic. Also, she was in Dragonheart, Starship Troopers, Star Trek Nemesis with. Alright, she did show up in the first movie of this series.
God, that poor woman.
Piranha 3D. She's still having a career these days. She has done a lot of TV and movies, more TV than movies, but still. Oh, right, she was Barbara Gordon in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, Flash CW series. So yeah, as Jigsaw's explained, the device is essentially strapped inside her body to her ribcage. If she cannot get out, you can guess what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But the key in order to get there is inside a not boiling, but a pot of acid. So how much do you want to sacrifice in order to get out?
And there's a jar there of Granny's peach tea.
Oh god, I don't think Lex Luthor piece was that acidic.
Well, it killed people in the room, so...
I seriously believe it was not that. Trust me, as a professional, but as a seasoned Team Fortress 2 player, I can assure you that piece is not like that explosive.
So yeah, she's trying to get her out. She's trying to get out of it.
Before the key gets dissolved completely by the acid.
I know she's not stupid. She tries to just outright pour the acid away.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Walk around with what she can.
Well, it's not explosive, but it can grow up mushrooms. So there's always that.
Yeah, there you go. That's usually the best approach with these kind of things. Even if it hurts, you have to go in, all in. Because if you just deal it out, you're just gonna get hurt. But
Alright,
yes,
she's got the key.
She made it.
Barely made it.
Has she?
Hopefully it still works. And now she has to rip up the device.
But it's not budging.
Ow.
So yeah, something else that was inescapable.
Also, these transitions return.
I was tempted to make a fatality joke, but that's not gory enough.
It's not even that really, not even a stage fatality. It would be something more like that happens to a character in a background in the stage where the two characters are fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
like
god,
in the flash beats.
can you imagine Saw DLC in Mortal Kombat 1?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, having some kind of Saw representation in a Mortal Kombat game, considering what that one has been doing, that wouldn't be surprise me all that much, really. Not really.
It's more the fact that, compared to other slasher movies, this is more cerebral and stationary for, making the trap work. So a character like Jigsaw will have to be essentially a zoner that has to create traps on the spot. It's not really fitting with the Mortal Kombat formula that tries to be more in your face and aggressive. Like, that's what the other characters like Freddy Krueger, Jason, the Alien, or the Predator worked out better.
I'd like to see Chucky in a Mortal Kombat game.
Also, discount Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of. Maybe we should get that guy to succeed.
As Wolverine.
Yeah.
We get introduced also to another one of our main characters that will be a part of this movie. This nurse.
Lynn, played by, let me see...
Bahar Somek.
Oh boy. Please don't tell.
Yeah, Bahar Somek.
Please don't.
Iranian American.
Please
yes?
don't. Please don't tell me she can tell if there's something evil afoot by throwing a piece of toast with jelly.
Again, thankfully no, because since this series does not rely on supernatural stuff, we don't get the possibility of that.
Aww.
Yeah, she quit acting in the early 2010s, but she has been in some things, including...
Without a Trace, Jag, Mission Impossible 3.
She was in an episode of CSI.
Mm-hmm.
And
And Ghost
Couple.
Whisperer.
She now works in real estate.
Yeah, you probably should get fired for this kind of behavior on the job. Oh yes, the American way. And it's like this emotional discomfort, just ingest pills. Like,
Let me guess, she's next on Jigsaw's pig list.
because she cannot appreciate life. Well, yes and no. You will see.
The film was also dedicated to former producer of the series, Greg Hoffman, who sadly died in December 2005.
Also, since we haven't mentioned it, let me see. Budget 10 million, recouping 164.9. So yeah. Again, between Twilight and this, Lionsgate was making lots of moolah in the mid-2000s.
Wait, wasn't Twilight Summit
It started in
Entertainment though?
2008, I think.
Yeah, I think.
2008, yeah.
No, but wasn't Twilight Summit Entertainment though?
Well, it's still
They're
one of their
owned by
branches.
Lionsgate.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
This is why it felt so odd to me why the host was not picked up by them. Like, for all intents and purposes, Stephanie Meyer should have continued on that front.
I guess even they foresaw that the film was going to be a money pit, so... It's a money sink, so yeah.
Or maybe they did not wanted to spend too much money with, the director. I don't know. There you go, the different pig masks used. And there she is. Again, Lynn is not technically put in a trap, but instead she is brought to a sort of a workplace. Yeah. It's like Disney World. This is where the magic is made.
So Disney puts people in metal traps.
You know what, Dave? At this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bob Iger, but I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna throw in my resignation. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
But they thought... Okay, I forgot. It was 2001 Warner Bros.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a Kubrick movie. That Kubrick made the most of his movies under Warner Bros.
I keep forgetting which studios he did most of. But yeah, Amanda is predictably back after the twist on a previous movie.
The place you will die if you don't shut up.
Basically. So yeah, if you forgot, Jigsaw was dying at the end of the previous movie, so that's why Lynn is here. She was literally kidnapped to do her job as a nurse.
Okay, it was actually MGM that released 2001, but I'm guessing in the years since.
What? I'm pretty sure at this point they lost whatever rights they had.
If you forgot, yeah, one of the twists revealed, thanks to Loris Gordon, was that, Jigsaw was a patient in the hospital. Such a small world. I mean, we talked about Disney World, so yeah, it is a small world after all. Okay, editor, I cannot read it that fast. Again, we still cannot show Dr. Gordon because, Carrie Elwes is expensive.
I really get the feeling whoever edited these movies was hyped up on caffeine while doing it.
Again, it's the same guy, Kevin Grotert. It's gonna be basically the same throughout the entire series, and at some point he's gonna become the director for a bunch of them. Okay, Jigsaw, don't shout at me.
Jesus Christ. Yes, another thing. Now he's yelling at people.
That's such a Me 2000 line. You can tell this was done when the emo culture was almost at its peak. Because again, Jigsaw's postulating and philosophical, weird stuff really reflects some of the more pretentious, ideas of the time.
Reminds me of
Of course.
Well, naturally, no, I think it's not that comparable.
So yeah, you don't do the job, you're gonna die. But how specifically? With this trap. Classic Battle Royale explosive color. I mean, gotta go with the classics. Jigsaw dies, that thing is gonna blow up, so that's an incentive. It's kinda like, God, it's like the plot device in the Spawn movie, where the villain gets a biological nuclear weapon, connected to his heartbeat because he believes he's gonna get killed, and that's supposed to be an incentive. And as people noted out, so if you die natural causes, what the fuck's gonna happen? Like at least here it makes a bit more sense.
So yeah, if his heart rate flatlines, or if she tries to leave,
Boom.
Boom.
Boom, indeed.
So yeah, Amanda also hints us at the proper victim of the game. Yes, there's still a proper game that has to still go on, in this, and hasn't started yet. Like almost 30 minutes in now.
Really? We're only 10 minutes in.
Alright, that's our victim for today, the proper, contestant of the game. Let me check who is played by, because I think it's a Scottish actor. Angus McFadden. Fadian, sorry.
I swear I've heard that name before.
Let me check. His first role was in Braveheart, actually, when it comes to movies. Also, it was in... Okay, remind me, Pedro, was the villain of Warriors of Virtue called Komodo?
Komodo, I think, yes.
I think that's him.
Huh.
Let me check just again to be sure. Yes, that's him! Just with a few more pounds, obviously.
Is he also cartoonishly over the top in this movie?
Sadly, no, he has to play the role very straight. Also, after this, he was in a lot of other movies, but I don't recognize pretty much anything.
That reminds me,
His career is still going. Go on.
That reminds me, I have yet to see the sequel to that.
I keep forgetting there was a sequel to it.
Oh, boys, Jigsaw's doing a trial. Get Phoenix Wright to be your Ace Attorney.
I'm not sure that's gonna work, Libs. So yeah, that's the entire motivation of this character, Jeff, what a name. Beat the game and you will discover the truth.
This is your first trap. Get out of this box.
Basically. I mean, it's an easy one, technically. Although,
It's like how someone joked in Persona 5. The first boss of the game is actually trying to find the line you're supposed to go on.
although being bare feet, I'm guessing you're gonna get all those splinters, you're bare.
A Scottish guy trying to be American?
I guess. I mean, to be fair, Dwibs, in Warriors of Virtue, he tried to be vaguely Asian, so, yeah.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, this is a classic example of a guy consumed by revenge because he believed his child was actually murdered. And has to care about the other, child he has left, his daughter. Again, because of emotional, trauma and everything, this father was very, scarred by the loss of his child, and it includes also keeping the room as it was, all those years ago. It's a thing that happens. It can veer into borderline obsession, but, it has to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
Also, stock child laughter.
Well, these even with a $10 million budget this time around, that's still pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm. I don't. Okay, for the driving test, I don't even remember if we actually ever see someone driving a car in this movie. I don't remember that.
Is that going to be a trap in Saw 10, the driving test?
The daughter, Corbett,
I want to play a game. You must pass the driving test or your car will explode.
Damn. The daughter, Corbett, is played by Niam Wilson. Let me see if she did something else. Okay, she was the first her role was in a movie called Aurora Borealis. So that's
localized entirely within your career.
She's mostly done TV stuff, and she's still doing stuff to this day. So good on her. Professional father, leaving a gun in your children's room.
Goody. Let me guess, is this how his daughter dies?
Well, no, that's how he was kidnapped also. And got here.
Huh.
So yeah, that's the two main motivation for his game. You know, get back to his daughter and find the truth about his son.
You know the pig mask nowadays? Now it reminds me of what would happen if the Muppets went public domain and the makers of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey got that.
Made one about Miss Piggy accepting vengeance. Oh God.
I don't think Paige will ever want to go near a cinema for a while after that.
After what? Sorry.
If they did, Blues was suggesting if the eventuality when the Muppets become public domain and someone starts to make a dark and gritty horror movie, kind of like what happens with.
No, thank you. No, thank you. We already tried a quote-unquote more adult Muppet show, and the less I talk about that, the better.
Also, wasn't there a movie done by Jim Henson's son called like The Happy Time Murders or something?
Brian Henson? No, Brian Henson directed stuff like Muppet Treasure Island and stuff, and I think he also directed Carol. I think.
I heard that The Happy Time Murders was not good. That's what I was saying.
Muppets in Space, you mean?
No. A recent movie called The Happy Time Murders. It's supposed to be an original thing, just with the same style of puppetry.
Oh, right.
Even Henson's make mistakes.
I guess it's a situation a bit similar to Hayao Miyazaki.
Right, the biggest... creatively, at least, the biggest mistake I can think of with Hayao Miyazaki is his quote-unquote planning for...
retirement.
No. His quote-unquote planning for Earwig and the Witch.
Yeah. Oh, great, and Melissa McCarthy is in it. Yay.
Yeah. But here's where some things start to go a bit in the shitter. Despite, knowing clearly that she's supposed to do the job, as a nurse and everything, Amanda starts getting rather stereotypically jealous. Because apparently her entire, shtick with Jigsaw is that she sees him not just as a mentor, but more with a morbid, also Freudian-esque, figure to love. It's bizarre and not really great, to be honest. And again, this is part of one of the reasons why I say that part of these movies are not particularly great, because Amanda's behavior, flip-flopping, is not particularly, productive for the movie. Like, the nurse Lynn is trying to do her fucking job and nothing more, and here comes Amanda fucking terrorizing her. I guess it's also part of her arc to say that, despite being in training for Jigsaw, she would never be like him, she's too impulsive and shit.
Hashtag justice for nurses.
knowing what the franchise will do later, the fact that they do not have these particular painkillers is a bit weird, to be honest. And even this particular sequence that they had to kidnap the nurse in generally is weird, knowing what we will learn later. But again, it's a few movies ahead from now, so... Yeah, shut the fuck up, Amanda. This is also supposed to be, you know, to have, to reflect Amanda's behavior, you know. As Jigsaw said, the rules have made been clear, but Amanda wants to either cheat the system or, you know, oh, that's pleasant, or wants to, you know, generally just, you know, trying to get to from point A to point B as soon as possible.
Lovely.
Like, right fucking now. I can only imagine the directorial. All right, Tobin Bell, I need you to shake violently in the bed and never stop. Like,
That's gonna make me throw up, you know. Even better, it will help sell the scene. Fine.
I mean, that's also the problem. It's still just one person. When it comes to situation like Jigsaw, you know, it's important to have an entire crew monitoring for an emergency like that.
Oh wait, I got it, Webs. Maybe it's lupus. No, wait, it's never lupus.
Nah, although I don't know. I don't think Tobin Bell's ever been in a house episode.
That would have been interesting. Tobin Bell, you know, potentially studying if House is not appreciating life anymore or not, and concluding by the end that maybe still does, just in his own way, and decides to not kidnap him.
Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't.
Maybe he gets him in a good day, you know. I mean, we see weirder team-ups with. There was like an MTV special where Peanut shows up at the entrance and gets stopped by fucking David Spade because he's not on the list.
Just checked. No, he hasn't been in the house.
Anyway, back to draft.
Alright, so he survived the first trap, Wood. What's his next challenge?
To be fair, Dweebs, it's a competent trap from the aliens in Signs, so...
Yeah, well, yeah. He's never going to live that down, is he?
Again, even if I enjoyed that movie, Dweebs, the whole aliens cannot comprehend or pass up, or open objects that are made of wood is still very stupid to me.
I mean, that Wood trap earlier, if this is a more comedic series with horrible puns, Jigsaw would be like, "Hello, I would like to play a game."
Again, I think Robot Chicken needs some sketches about, Jigsaw.
The Robot Chicken sketch I've seen the most is the one where Ted Turner becomes Captain Planet.
I know. One of my favorite instead is when Goku and his children save Christmas with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I've also seen one where they make a dog sketch and they actually got Billy West to do his role again. As dog, not Roger though.
Next trap is this poor woman strapped naked in a freezing room. Damn. see if the key works. Nope. Doesn't work on that one either. Let's listen to the tape. She was involved as a witness. So yeah, it's not anymore such a trap for her, but a test for main character. Will he let her die, as a morbid sense of justice, or will we decide to sacrifice something in order to free her? And yeah, he doesn't have much time because, sprinkling someone in a freezing room is not the best thing.
Let me guess, if it freezes, she dies.
Well, yeah.
Bear in mind, I'm not an expert on science.
That kind of helps with the hypothermia waves, because in a freezing room, water, tends to get cold, not instantaneously, but very soon. And, if you're entirely coated by that, your hypothermia is gonna skyrocket.
I didn't do anything. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Was!
So yeah, looks like Jeff has made up his mind for now. Whoa! Or maybe not.
Jesus Christ.
You can do it, Jeff. Get the fucking key.
Hurry, before the editing...
Kills everyone in the room.
Oh god, if Saw 10's going to be like this, and this is the first one I'm going to be seeing in the cinema. It's a bigger screen even. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, even if he tried, he's too late.
Alas, she's covered in plastic.
Ice. CGI ice, but ice nonetheless. Okay, never mind. I guess he does scream a bit. Ow.
Well, let's see if the key would have worked.
Well, the locket is covered in ice too, so yeah, couldn't not do anything. Alright, next piece of paper.
One bullet will end it all. Oh, how nice.
Yep, it's a mannequin. Like, what was that shot?
Hey, remember? I'm guessing this was meant to be the final film in the series, but it's like, so I can just imagine this bit was like, "Hey, do you remember the mannequin that Jigsaw used to practice his traps on?"
There's the bear trap, the iconic one from the first movie. Yeah, why would you have even consider touching that? Oh, look at that, it's... yeah. I want the jump scare!
Will you stop messing with my dad's toys?
Unfortunately, this gives the implication that no matter what's gonna happen, you know, Dean is kind of screwed. The movie will showcase how things ends out, but at least there's the implication that Amanda never wanted her to still live. And now we get, if I recall correctly, a proper flashback on Jigsaw, you know, properly decorating Billy the puppet.
Nice little soft techno remix of the theme tune there, Charlie.
Yeah. It's groovy, there's And yeah, this was when he prepared the first trap for Amanda, you know, the bear trap. Again, these are my favorite scenes because essentially it provides a bit of extra context on how some of this stuff happened in the previous movies. And since they were done basically back to back, you know, there's not too much difference in terms of aging the characters or the costumes that they used.
Well, this film only took 27 days to make.
The more complex part, of course, is building up the sets and the contraptions. Especially because while there is plenty of dialogue, it's not that much. So as a result, you know, it creates an experience where it's mostly visuals that have to carry on. Alright, time to do some brain surgery.
Oh, apparently, the bathroom set
Mm-hmm.
earlier on. Well, to save money for the production, they had to reuse the set from the Saw parody from Scary Movie 4.
That's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I know. It'd be like if it'd be like if it'd be like if someone made a Downfall parody after Downfall came out, but they wanted to do an extended cut, so just filmed scenes in that.
I think more of a thing of it was still played straight because the idea is that the movie plays straight, but has to use the set from the parody. Kind of reminds me. I think it was like one of the Hostel movies that they were allowed to use as prosthetic for a particular brutal scene. Prosthetics that were spared from, I think, Kill Bill. I think something like that happens all the times. If you have connections, in Hollywood, you can recycle props and stuff for minimizing costs. Also, of course, he got scarred by the whole, pressing his face against a tube. But in this shot already, that thing is almost completely healed. That's clearly what happens. That's a very distressed bearded puppet. What happened to you, buddy? Yeah.
Hey! You said he looked a bit mopey. He's laughing now.
Time to let go.
Of the series, not well. No, if Lionsgate has anything to say about it.
Yeah, it's been. Well, to be fair, again, after Saw 3D, the series was genuinely, just left to die, but he was only resurrected recently.
Well, that's because Lionsgate had the body from
John
Alpha
Wick.
and Omega to fall back on.
So yeah, next contraption. We'll see what happens.
Although, funnily enough, to you here in the UK, Warner Brothers distributed the first two John Wick movies.
I don't know. Maybe it's a thing that happened in Europe in general. So yeah, something stinks in here. Okay, mate. Into the tape. Hi.
Yeah, for a second I thought it was John Voight.
No, it's a Barry Flatman. This was the state judge that that had to provide a sentence from the case where Jeff's son died. Again, Jigsaw tested to these guys, having a bunch of people that were involved, and Jeff had a personal reason to not like, and Jeff decided to let them live or die. And the stake in this case is Jeff's son's toys. If you forgot, previous shot established that Jeff is very obsessed in maintaining the room as it was, so this to him will signify a lot. But how will this guy be killed, if Jeff doesn't act in time?
That's what I think it is.
Surprisingly enough, the saw blades are not for him, but instead, this was a slaughterhouse, so...
Oh, I thought the thought was gonna be he is going to be drowning in excrement.
Close. The machine where as pigs, rotten pigs being dropped by, and the remaining, liquefied returns will eventually drown this guy if Jeff doesn't act fast enough. That's what was thinking, in the room. Blech. Once again, kids, do not eat before watching these.
These are like one of those rare films in the cinema where you're really brave for taking snacks into it.
If it wasn't for the raunchiness, this will almost feel a bit comedical, almost slapsticky.
He already has kind of done that earlier, mate.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to do, man. Okay, this is a trap that's kind of worse than having your guts ripped out. Drowning in
pig
drowning in
liquefied remains.
Yeah.
Rotten pigs, to boot. Even the previous one, I argue, again, hypothermia is already a bad way to go, but having to be exacerbated by being sprayed liquid on you, yeah, that's worse. And for a person that had the only crime of not intervening... How many rotten pigs were stored in here? There you go.
Yeah, for a man who eventually decides to forgive, he takes his sweet ass time.
Well, again, that happened also with the previous trap, and it was too late. Let's see if it happens the same here. Again, I know that it sounds a bit narmy, the fact, oh no, the toys are melting, like it's the bad end to Toy Story 3, but, it's the fact that, again, Jeff had a personal connection with this because he felt that they were the last being of his son.
If you make a Toy Story 5 and it ends like this, damn.
I'm gonna take a page from that and say that there were no other movies after Toy Story 3.
Yep. It's just that it's not about not learning this. It's more so about the fact that the story reached its natural conclusion. Just leave it at that.
I'm gonna say instead what other people suggested, making future movies like say a prequel, like how good.
Oh yeah. Or you could make a prequel. Sure, that's what I would make if I had to make an intro story. I would just go the prequel route, like Masters University.
There we go.
I mean, we have so many Pixar sequels. Why not make a couple more prequels for a change?
There you go. This time he actually made it. So 1 for 1, I guess.
1 for 1 and 1 for all.
I love it how the editor either was told or felt that the editing needed to be pulsing with the tune of the music.
I could honestly, to me, that sounds like the fun kind of job it can have, syncing something to the music, like it's a funny dancing video.
Kind of like it's similar to Mickey Mousing, but not quite. All right, now it's time to properly do some brain surgery. This is actually a very old method to try to cure, stuff like headaches. Because again, the general belief is that this is caused by the brain mass, expanding and as such, pressuring against your skull. So if you remove part of that, it should alleviate this to some kind of effect. It's not perfect, but so far it's a good alternative. It's the kind of thing that Bones in Star Trek would actually scoff at and said, that we shouldn't cut patients, like their fucking clothes.
But he's in okay, to be fair to you, he has a slight advantage over these guys. He's in the future.
The future is future, whatever future.
Where he has Starfleet, where everyone gets on with each other.
And the tricorders are able to just quietly, heal people with a press of a button.
Yeah, that's one thing he tried to put in TNG as well, but the writers are like, oh wait, characters just get on with each other all the time? Where's the drama going to come from that? Something that was fixed in season 3 onwards.
Please, I don't tell me with your screen the plot in this case. Again, also props to the practical effects. Like, these are actually pretty good.
Lovely. Well, hey, that's the test. If you feel squicked out, then the movie's doing its job right.
There you go. Hold still the pieces of flesh. Again, you have to remember, normally you need an entire keep to do this kind of shit, but... The dock is in!
Alright, John, where are the rest of your traps? Again, I'm glad I'm not eating anything skull or brain related.
You can definitely feel a bit of better writing in this with the kind of tense of the situation with this, because, it's a very delicate operation. She can screw up at any second, but even her own life is also at stake. So, again, it's a testament to how James Wan and Lee Whannell are actually good at writing this kind of stuff.
And if only Darren would stop with the bloody fast cutting. For the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the. How many films have you seen where the script was good, but the guy directing it's doing a poor job?
I think there are examples, but I cannot think at the top of my head.
Like, I know of films where the script wasn't up to snuff, but the director was doing a good job of it, like Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, for example. Like, I do think J.A. Bayona is like, aside from Spielberg, he was like the best director of the movies. The problem was
Trevorrow's. That was their first mistake, allowing Colin Trevorrow to write a movie.
Yeah, and since I guess Bayona couldn't really do much about it since he was a director for hire.
Well, remember, Drebs, this is the brilliant mind who thought Book and Barry was a good idea.
To actually properly be made into a movie.
Yep. Ooh, I like this script. I'm gonna make it into a movie. It's my big passion project.
But But Colin, you do know the script was written nearly 20 years ago. There's a good.
Just
I think
put
there's a
Gears
reason
of
why it
War,
hasn't been
people
made
will
yet.
not notice. Hang on, removing the membrane, and now the brain is actually exposed. Yeah, okay, Lynn, I understand. Success by you trying to stabilize patient.
I get the feeling she's gone full mad scientist at this point.
Uh-oh. And he's having flashback to his wife. We'll get to her also soon enough. What did you think is happening, Amanda? Jeez.
Well, if you shut up, maybe I can fix it.
Let me see.
I'm not your wife, John.
Jill Tuck, played by Betsy Russell.
It's one of those movies where also this is another one of those movies where they dress up a Canadian city as American.
I mean, it's
Toronto in this case.
It's the Fox approved, best method. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, just go Canada and do it.
I think the Twilight movies also were filmed in Canada, weren't they?
I don't know. I know Deadpool 1 was. Although its main star is Canadian, so I guess they had that. Also, honestly, considering Wolverine is Canadian, I'm surprised Wolverine hasn't had like a bit of the Canadian museum or somewhere.
If I recall correctly, now actually is my favorite scene. Also, one of the letters that we saw in the previous movie. Forgot if it's now or later. Basically, that's one of the flashbacks, but actually is my favorite scene of the movie.
Okay, but I'll take the job on one condition. Can you get rid of that soul patch?
There you go. That was Amanda who kidnapped Lee Wanell in the first movie.
And that's actually Lee Wanell himself in the movie.
I mean, yeah, because it was still returned as the screenplay for this.
Along with James Wan.
So at the very least, we took advantage of that. Amanda, what the fuck are you doing? She's like Victor Zaz. She has to perform self-harm. The fuck.
I swear, there's plenty of characters that make like a mark on their body to represent a person that they've killed.
And yeah, there you go. That's my favorite scene. Essentially, now we reconstruct the entirety of the game scene from the first movie. That's the one else body, if I recall. Yeah, there you go. Obviously, again, because they did not add Carrie Elwes, they had essentially either a stunt or have stuff happening, you know, out of focus from the camera. Again, it's still pretty cool because you get to see all the pieces being put there, you know, in the order where the characters eventually found them. There you go, that body in the background, that was supposed to be Carrie Elwes' character, Dr. Gordon.
Did
But
he use
his
a body
position-
double for him?
Yeah, the position is so that you don't see his face.
I think this was the bit that they had to
Use
redo.
the bathroom from the Scary Movie, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they managed to reconstruct it almost perfectly anyway, so good on them. And yeah, in order to perfect the, you know, the facade, Jigsaw injects himself with a relaxant. And by the way, I forgot to mention, for the first movie, that was still Tobin Bell in all of the scenes, just, you know, standing there. They did not use a mannequin or anything. Tobin Bell just very professionally, you know, stood there and did nothing, just standing there.
Well, he lay there, yeah.
Lay, sorry.
Oh, well, can I say it? Game over? Oh.
Well, no, the game has not started yet, you moron.
Start level? No, that doesn't make sense. Well, actually, they did make 2 video games out of this, so...
Like I said, they suck. Like, story-wise, sure, I guess they have a bit of importance, if you want to what happened to Danny Glover and eventually Son, but, yeah, you
I
don't
gotta
really
say,
need
though,
them.
but Detective Tapp had great plastic surgery to make him look nothing like Danny Glover in those
Yeah, I
games.
don't even remember who's he was voiced by. Someone completely different
I don't
anyway.
know. I mean, I do know Cortana is one of the voices in that game.
Everyone is completely wasted anyway. The only one who reprises his role is Tobin Bell, obviously, and he's the one who gives a shit the most.
I mean, he's been doing this for years, so...
Again, even now, this, like you said, the guy is like, I think 80...
He's like 81, 82.
81, yeah, at this point, so... Considering,
yeah,
again,
he's
you know,
be in Saw 10.
he's not supposed to be an action hero or anything, you know, doesn't have to jump around, you know, it makes sense. If all the time he just tends to need a recording booth and record the voices. Okay, Amanda, you seriously had to work on your, you know, impulsive issues. And again, you can tell that this is done by purpose because, you know, the scene is supposed to have Jigsaw telling her to knock it off. It's still a bit contrived, admittedly.
He's like, yeah, I'm not supposed to die yet.
Yeah, Jigsaw, maybe you should actually train better your pupils.
Yeah, you don't train them in killing properly.
Or to, you know, have the same wavelength of your mental stability. There. Okay, I distinctly remember that this is actually a scene from the director's cut. And I don't think I have any idea why this was cut away, because if I recall correctly, it's just Amanda looking at this diary.
It reminds me
yeah,
of.
so- yes, Pedro?
It reminds me of 4Kids cutting the scene in the second Pokemon movie where Tracy's figuring out science to save Moltres, and I'm just like, why would you cut that? There's literally nothing even remotely sensitive to anybody in that scene.
Was it because it was pointless or something?
No,
Really,
not really.
Critical.
It was literally them coming up with a plan how to save Moltres. I will argue that's kind of vital. So
Again, the only thing that helped to do it was basically contribute to Jova, keep saying how much he doesn't like Tracy, but that's it.
Well, that's the thing, though. To remember, Tracy was made to appeal to Western people when they knew it was getting a release of the West. But by the time our show started, by the time the show started round here, I think Tracy was pretty much on his way out. So, actually, I think by the time Tracy's debut episode aired in the West, he'd already been left out of the show in Japan. So we even get a chance to find out for ourselves.
And like I said, any trainer
Thanks,
who
Jimmy.
actually manages to have properly competently a cipher is actually worth something in my eyes. So yeah, these extended scenes serve to showcase the fact that Amanda was still not particularly stable in hallucination about the one else character.
Are you still alive?
Say yes if you are.
If if it was the other guy she was talking to, kick your right foot if you're alive. I mean, kick your left foot if you're alive.
and kick your right one if you're dead.
Brrr! No, it's not even a jump scare.
Leave one else alive. There's character in this movie, isn't it? Oh wait, no, it isn't.
No, she decided to just kill him with a plastic bag. Again, this was essentially to ultimately confirm about the fact that Livanel's character is DEAD completely. No chances of returning.
Well, I mean, considering Jigsaw left him to die anyway.
Again, considering we did not saw the body, I guess the fans were speculating if he had survived or not. So this is to put away any doubt.
Oh no! I killed the co-writer. What do I do?
Yeah, Amanda, turns out you might not be the brightest tool in the box. Anyway, back to Jeff
Wow, it took a while to get back to him.
and the judge. That's what we kind of need. A fan game, Jigsaw game made with RPG Maker. I'm pretty sure by lots of probability there might be one, and I just don't know about it. I mean, games like Mad Father, are kind of puzzle games, that resemble a bit the Saw movies, just, done in RPG Maker, so I don't think it's entirely out of possibility. And the paper keeps mentioning about, how one bullet changes everything. Yeah, mate, I understand what you're saying with that kind of rhetoric, but it's a bit wasted on Jeff. He's kind of like the protagonist of Undown the Freeman at this point. And this kickstart another trap. A lot of Jigsaw traps get kickstarted by people entering a room with a door. This one is special. The person who allegedly was responsible for the murder of his son.
I love how the subtitle said the day he made a terrible mistake.
Mm-hmm. This is a bit also cruel even for Jigsaw standard. This thing is connected to his limbs and will twist and turn them, and until he actually dies out. This is the worst game of Twister I've ever seen. And the only key to actually, grab it is connected to a shotgun. Can you grab it on, while avoiding getting shot? What was that sound effect? So yeah, time's ticking.
Now I wonder why there's no other thing to put like something between the doors so it doesn't close.
Those are reinforced metal, so it probably wouldn't work.
If I ever make a Saw movie, that's what I'll try and do.
Mm-hmm. That's with this. You will get to, traps later on which can be questioned or, properly be probably be resolved with more logic than, just simply following instruction.
Can't wait till I get to a certain trap in 3D.
Alright, also watch this. The judges are trying to get the key instead. Trying to get his head away from the shotgun.
But he's like, hang on a moment.
Ow.
Wow, what's the judge noticed?
Yeah, do something. Well, yeah, that kind of has already happened, Judge.
I gotta say, if he's that fucked up in the head that he wanted like 8 people dead.
Mm-hmm.
And he only does it because other people tell him to. It's like, am I supposed to feel sorry for this guy?
Not really. Again, Jigsaw did pick someone who really was not appreciating life. So yeah, you cannot even dislodge the gun because it's connected to a mechanism. Ow.
If only he had a screwdriver.
Well, probably a sonic, you will need it to remove the contraption. That's what you kind of need, you know, Jigsaw versus the Doctor. I mean, the Doctor, at some point, clearly showcased that he may start to not appreciate life as much as he claims he would. And because the judge, unfortunately, is not looking, you know, what he's doing, he was in the trajectory of the shotgun. Like I said, this is almost comedic. So yeah, and also...
You saved him and he died anyway!
Yeah, dies in the next room. Alright, well, maybe at least we can save this guy. Yeah, I'll be too late, Jeff. Again.
That's because he keeps standing there going,
I mean, the existential crisis. Again, that's the idea on paper, that's the cruelty and the torture of Jigsaw, because, you know, he will know that this guy will not react immediately, and that will be basically his own undoing.
He failed, and also the judge died, by the way, Mr. Saw.
Yeah. I mean, the movie's almost over, Jigsaw, like... Oh, sure, Jigsaw. Keep telling us how you're so high and mighty. Your morals.
No. Oh yeah, that'll help her psyche.
Yeah, especially with Amanda.
Hey, I'm supposed to be, he's supposed to be my senpai, not yours.
God, Amanda is that kind of fangirl. Jeez.
Oh god, can you imagine the Saw, light novel title? My father figure is a serial killer, but I love him, really.
I think there were some Saw comic book tie-ins. Let me check.
Can you imagine a Saw anime? Like, who would even make it?
I know for a fact that there were actually Twilight official mangas, believe it or not. I think I mentioned that during the commentaries.
My boyfriend is a 100-year-old vampire.
There you go. There's a Saw Rebirth, a comic book prequel to the original film released to promote Saw 2. It's canonicity, but the canonicity was contracted by events in Saw 4. These were the first canonical appearance of Jill, Jigsaw's wife, and that's it. There's only that comic book. Okay. See how many issues there was.
Yeah, John Kramer's wife, a Saw story. Then again, he literally made a film called Spiral. What was it called?
I don't know. Oh, Spiral from the Book of Saw. Yeah.
Wow, they're calling Saw a book now. Wow.
It's part of a pretentious thing of saying, equivalating Jigsaw to an evangelist. Okay, no, it seems to be, the comic seems to be like a one-shot. Okay, so fair enough. Fortunately, Lialine is not too much of a fighter, and she has that explosive thing on her head.
Ah, wow, this trick. Two people don't know how to fight. Fine, shake the camera around.
Yeah, I can not understand fully what's going on, to be honest.
I haven't seen the movie fully, but I have seen that fight scene. This is as bad as that fight scene in Alex Cross that I saw.
I I remember it by name, but I don't think I ever saw it.
It's when they tried to make Tyler Perry an action star.
Oh, goody. And she still doesn't kill Amanda, though.
Did you really think I'd be wearing the key, you idiots?
Anyway, back to Jeff. Because now things are about to align. Alright, let's check what's inside the envelope for Amanda. And now some foreshadowing for the next movie, because again, this wasn't supposed to be the conclusion. They knew that they were going to franchise, so they might as well start planting seeds. I mean, we already have seen a couple of them, like Detective Hoffman, since he will play a bigger role in the next couple of movies.
Oh god, I mean, hey, if you want to, if you feel that doctors are too emotionally detached from their patients, you'd love the movie Patch Adams.
Ugh. But Waves, that
Yeah.
was based on a true story. That means he's legit.
Yeah, a butchered version of it.
That was a very stock gun sound effect. Amanda, get to your room. You're grounded for 3 days. You go to sleep without supper. Yeah, what happened to Detective Matthews?
You know, when she's this version of her that we're seeing right now, she looks like that evil bitch out of the first couple of series of 24.
Huh. There you go. Now it's time to see what happened to Detective Matthews. Again, with a broken foot and everything, but he
Nina,
did survive.
Nina, that's it.
Clearly, that's what we need for the Kingdom Hearts world. Turns into Heartless and everything.
With Jack Bauer.
Well, Jack Bauer is your party member, of course.
I'd watch that. Why not? Oh god, could you imagine if that was the canonical sequel to Live Another Day? You know, when the Russians take him, but he gets freed from the Russians by Sora.
Well, now that's a proper Matthews jump scare. Ow.
That's there's the inspiration for one of the obstacles in the video game. The
Steam.
really hot steam that can kill you.
Ow. Scrumptious, I guess.
Oh boy, the dark. Yeah, you say scrumptious. Wow, this is the dark, gritty version of Willy Wonka that I always wanted. It's like those fake trailers people make that repurpose the original 70s movie into a horror film.
No, it's the ultimate version of this universe where it's basically the same except everyone is a cannibal for some reason.
What, Augustus Gloop is a cannibal?
No, this movie. I mean... Ow.
Tell me where it is and then you'll have my permission to die. Is this something else that was in that's exclusive to this version?
I think more the micro shots of the more gory effects, I think.
Right.
There's an entire site that compiles the difference, but I haven't checked in a while.
But I can be. My senpai said so.
Amanda.exe has encountered a problem.
She needs to close. We apologise for any inconvenience. But the fans love me. Or at least the actress.
We'll need to see what happened eventually to Detective Matthews in the next movie, so don't worry, we'll get closure on him too. Meanwhile, Jeff is still arriving. Open the door, Jeff.
Well, yours and
Many
the
others.
doctors are. Wait, now he's begging? Damn, he really is out of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's dying,
Last chance.
so...
Remember also the other piece of paper say 1 bullet can make a difference. Whoa!
Ah, Jesus Christ.
There you go, Jeff has arrived in the green room. And that's the twist. Lynn was Jeff's ex-wife. It just hits you like that. This entire thing of a test was with Lynn was going to be rewarded. And of course, this also means Amanda gets shot.
Well, there's the one bullet. Yeah, but only she knows how to get that thing off.
Mm-hmm. And in case you're wondering, since Amanda does show up in the movie, in the next movies, and she's still supposed to show up in Saw X, all the other appearances have been essentially flashbacks to set things out and to match things out and how they get into place. So I'm guessing Saw X also will do something like that, because Amanda recovering from this would be rather implausible even for the series standards.
Wait, he was talking to Amanda the whole time about that whole test thing.
Yep, it was a test also for her, and she failed spectacularly. Maybe you should pick better, pupils, Jigsaw.
Yeah, hence, making unwinnable games.
Yeah, those were hers and not Jigsaw's. But Jeff's game was done by Jigsaw, and and Amanda was not given the details. Poor daughter.
They're all cliches anyway.
While not as powerful as the twist in the previous movies, I think this is still, kind of well elaborate. Once again, a testament to Lee Wanell and James Wan type of scripting. If only they could have written Amanda a bit better, admittedly, but alas. And that's where Amanda dies. Again, subsequent appearance will be just in flashbacks. So far, no real character has come back from the dead in the series, so we'll have to see, hopefully, if that sticks or not.
Oh god, Saw 10, it turns out, oh, Jigsaw was his brother.
That one probably would have been a better twist for the 7th movie, but we aren't there yet. Sorry, the 8th movie, my bad. And because Jeff doesn't know about, doesn't know about the color, of course, he's willing to kill the Jigsaw, but unfortunately everyone is too late.
Yeah, like, are you not noticing the collar, mate?
Well, yeah, but he doesn't know that it's connected to Jigsaw, even if he mentions only in cryptic way about the connection. Unfortunately, Lin is too weak to actually tell him.
Wow, he's making a game of improvising off the fly.
Yep. An actual saw blade. See, Dweebs, the title is justified.
See, that's why it's called Saw. There's a saw blade.
It's clever. Jigsaw, come out and play.
Ha, make our choice, get it? This is different this time.
Because a lot of lives depend on this single decision. And Jeff fucks up.
He's even laughing. He's like, oh boy, this is going to be fun. Yeah, I'm going to die, but hey, it'll be fun.
I get the last laugh, basically. And yeah, that's basically it. Jigsaw dies with this. So I know what you're thinking. How can we continue the franchise with the proper character, titular character, dead at the end of the 3rd movie? Uh-oh.
But,
That's what the following movies will have to be.
And
there go the iconic theme. And the final tape. And there you go, the collar goes off.
And we get flashbacks to all the other movies.
Yep. Again, while technically not the end of the franchise, this is technically a sort of a cleanser for all the cleaning a lot of the board.
Lynn,
In the next movie, we will follow almost a complete new set of characters, aside from a few ones that get introduced here. There you go. This is the last tape that Jigsaw made for Jeff. Yeah.
I mean, we gotta make sequels of this somehow.
Mm-hmm. There you go. The thing that Jigsaw did not tell Jeff is that that was also the logical thing. His daughter was also kidnapped, not just him. And if he wanted to save her, he would have needed to forgive Jigsaw, but because he fucked up, he signed her death. And I think that's how it ends.
Yeah, well, it's gone to black on my end.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And that's kind of how it ends. Very bleak. Yeah.
I guess.
Again, this is not the end of the franchise, and back when the movie was made, everyone knew, the makers and the fan base, so they were not preoccupied about, this being to end. But this is still like a cleanser of the board because Jigsaw is dead, Amanda is dead, Lee Wanen's character is dead, Detective Matthews is presumed to be dead, but we will see what happened to him in the next movie. Almost the entirety of the police that were following the Jigsaw murder has been either replaced or completely gone. So, starting for the next movie, we'll follow a set of new characters and, still connected to what has happened so far. But still, final thoughts, Lives.
Okay. In spite of Darren and Balsman trying to make people throw up in the cinema, I think this is the best movie of the three. Okay, to be fair, when he's not spinning the camera around needlessly, he does a good job directing the actors. And then again, the script he has to work with this time is a lot better than the one he had last time.
So what is this pop song?
I don't know. I turned off the movie.
Go on. I'll check in a meantime.
And I think he does a semi-decent job of tying the other two films together, even if they had to try and plant seeds more for the next movie, because they knew that Lionsgate weren't just going to let this series just go out, not right away anyway.
Yeah.
And really, that's it. I mean, I would say this was a solid conclusion to the series, but we know it isn't.
Yeah.
We've got how many movies left? 4, 5, 6, 3D, Jigsaw,
and
Spiral, and then the upcoming Saw 10. So we've got 7 movies left.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For the purpose of the mainline series, the one that continued this particular set of characters, movie 7 is the stopping point. After that, Jigsaw and Spiral follow completely new people, and Jigsaw is only tangentially connected to these.
Fair enough. So yeah, I am interested to see what the future holds, even if apparently the next movie is going to be Darren Lynn Bousman's last up until Spiral.
Mm-hmm.
Because he decided to make stuff like Repo the Genetic Opera instead.
I mean, I guess.
Alright, that's me done. I think it's the best film of the three. And it'll be interesting to see how they somehow manage to carry on / not carry on after this.
Pedro.
I mean, to me, it's just kind of sounds like about on par with the others. There's not really much I can say in terms of differences. I mean, yeah, this one is more bleak, but I will argue it's not particularly egregious. Aside from that, the same editing returns, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's overall just more Saw, really. There's not particularly much more the premise that they have for this time is kind of interesting, considering, the whole thing with the nurse trying to save Saw and shit. Jigsaw, sorry.
And hey, it's one of your favorite morals about how huge vengeance is futile, just told in a very, very hardcore way.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's basically another Saw movie. Not really much I can say. It seems like it serves pretty much as a. I mean, we know it's not a conclusion, but yeah, like I guess it serves well as another entry. So
Alright, I'll conclude. Also, these songs, the first one sounded came from Shadow Hedgehog, and this one instead from Sonic 06. I know that Layers did a song for this, but I could not recognize which one was. How weird. But yeah, I can confirm what I said during the host commentary. This is still relatively good when it comes to the Saw movie. So yeah, it's one of the few good movies that came out in 2006. In general, I still technically prefer the first movie overall, but I don't think this and Saw 2 are technically worse. It's just a matter of the first one, being the novelty and being more of a technical marvel, while these, of course, are the more, properly elaborate because they have a bigger budget, the support of a studio and everything. I really appreciate the flashback scenes which showcase how the game came to be, and again, in general, the game of Jeff is just this grueling torture that that it's a prime example on the futility of revenge, depending on how it's presented. Like in this case, he had plenty of opportunities to actually be a better person, but he squandered them in order to instead follow his instincts, which is typical Jigsaw type of plot. Really, the worst thing that I can say this is the character of Amanda. For all their good writing, Lee Wanell and James Wan probably did not know how to handle her because, she was turned into a villain at the end of the second movie where they did not have much involvement. So they just had to work with what they had and they turned her into a bit of a psychopath. Probably they thought, you know what, it's a bit too convenient. Let's try to, take a more realistic conclusion to this type of character to idolize Jigsaw, but it's a bit hit and miss to me. The execution could have been a bit better. Still, again, I also appreciate the twist at the end. The fact that the nurse Lynn was actually Jeb's ex-wife, and similar to a murder mystery, you could piece things together, as the game was going on. Unlike in the other ones where things were told out of order and you did not know what to expect. But in this case, it's, the audience can follow a bit better. And again, cool actually. The ending might be a bit sudden, but again, at this point, people knew that to expect, one of these movies per year. If it's Halloween, it must be Saw. That's the tagline, So that was not too much of a problem. Admittedly, the only way we could have been worse is that, if Lionsgate went bankrupt and as such, they could not actually make the fourth movie, and as such, the movies just end like this abrupt. But thankfully, that wasn't the case. Speaking of which, that's all for Saw 3. So tune in next time, where we have to follow the new detective squad with with Detective Hoffman. As they have to piece together what has remained of Jigsaw, including his mortal body. And where do we go next? So see you for that.
see ya.